about first the Glee Project and Glee itself. What made you want to audition for it?
I didn't know that I was auditioning for the Glee Project at all when I auditioned. Way, 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 way back then. It was the show Glee itself was such a big hit and was so giant that they were looking for new cast members in this format on MySpace. And then from that format on MySpace, we got they got over like 34,000 submissions, and they kind of just scrapped the whole idea because they found Grant Gustin outside of it all. And then maybe like a couple months after that, they started this competition, I guess, this whole competition outside of Glee. And I remember getting a email on Facebook, like a DM on Facebook all those years ago, being like, hey, you're being considered to be on this new show, the Glee Project, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, wait, what is this? What is happening? And so I deleted it. And that submission that I did on MySpace turned into like real emails and real calls to fly me out to really audition for the Glee Project.
How do you feel about it now, looking back all those years?
It's something that I would never do again.
Why not?
It was a lot of work. I mean, the show itself was, it took a lot out of me as a 18-year-old, freshly still in high school, kind of flying cross country away from my single parent mom with my only child syndrome, very attached to me. And it was, reality TV competitions are a doozy. They really, really are. Am I happy that I did it? Absolutely. Do I cherish that I did it? 100%. But would I do it again? No, by no way means necessary.
A cautionary tale to anyone out there who wants to try out for a competition show. Let's move on to actually getting on Glee. Were you excited? Were you nervous? Were you both? Was this like a big chance for you? How did you see your role?
Well, I saw it in this gaze of, you have 2 episodes to make the most out of it. That was my consolation prize of like losing the Glee Project, was here you can have 2 episodes and a song on the Christmas album. And I think in my mind, it was just cherish the moments that you're doing all of this and kind of make the most of it. And then those 2 episodes turned into 3. Those 3 episodes turned into being a recurring guest. And then that recurring guest turned into being a full series regular.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. Let's move on to Zoey now, because what a great show.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about Mo. How do you approach the character?
I approach Mo in the sense of it. How would I, if I were watching this show, what do I want to see? What if I were a fan of this show, what do I want this character that reminds me so much of myself to be? What is the thing that is going to be most relatable and honest and real to that person?
Definitely. How would you describe Mo and Zoey's relationship?
At first it's that friend that you never think is going to be your friend, the friend that kind of comes out of nowhere. I love my friends that I have around me because they're 100% honest with me, and they don't care who I am. They don't care how many television shows I've been on, how many Broadway credits I have, how many accolades I have. They don't care. They're somebody that will tell me the truth as I need to hear it. And I love that Mo is that for Zoey. Sometimes the truth hurts, sometimes it's good for you, sometimes you don't want to hear it, but at the end of the day, somebody has to hold up that mirror and hold you accountable for it. And Zoey does that for Mo as well, in a sense.
It's almost like they're brutally honest with each other sometimes, but they do it from a place of love, and they do it from a place of sometimes humor, which is, in keeping with the show. So, I love their transactions. I love watching them interact. Can we talk a little bit about the last episode that aired? Because obviously it was emotional, I'm sure, for you. I talked with John and he, discussed how emotional it was for him. But from your perspective, how do you feel they handled the discrimination topics?
Discrimination in the workplace is something that always happens. It's been happening for quite literal ever. And shining light on that while allowing non-people of color to take responsibility for their flaws and their blind sides and their ignorance is kind of what needs to be shown. And to have them themselves realize it in a way is different than us screaming and yelling at them. And I think the show handled that brilliantly.
Absolutely. One of the things I said to John was, so many times that type of episode can come across as preachy, but it was so interesting to me to see the scene in the office between I lost his character's name, Simon, and Zoey, where she's like, well, I'm a woman in tech. And he was like, I'm a Black man. Like, you can't, even if you feel like you can relate, you can't. Yeah. And it wasn't shoved in your face. It was just very matter of fact.
It's a lot of self-reflectiveness.
It really is. And I said to John, there are times where I may have made a joke or thought something and didn't really think anything of it because I don't think of myself as discriminating against others. But I may have hurt someone without even realizing it. So I feel like this episode was such an eye-opener for myself, I think for a lot of other people. So kudos to you and the whole cast. Let's talk a little bit about musical numbers. What has been your favorite so far on the show, either yours or someone else's?
I will always say Peter Gallagher's True Colors, no matter how many times he sings it or I see it, I bawl my eyes out completely because it's so brilliantly, beautifully done. That's probably number one. It always sticks out in my mind. I swear that was the number that got us picked up completely. No one can tell me otherwise. But that I for my own personal music numbers, I don't remember half of them. There's like a vacuum. After I'm done, they just go away forever and ever and ever. But yeah, Peter's, that's my number one all-time favorite.
Yeah, it was amazing, really amazing. And like you said, really kind of opened a lot of people's eyes to the show. So it's wonderful. What did you think when you first heard the premise for the show? Were you like, what?
I come from a musical television show already, and I come from a musical theater background. So I was just like, okay, I guess this is, I'm so used to suspending disbelief at every juncture that when I read it, I was just like, okay, it happens. That could happen. It's a cool concept. And it is a cool concept of, and this is why I think I got the role, is because I love music so much, every form of it, every facet of it. And the line that Mos says in the pilot, a good song can make you feel things words can't express, is something that I actually believe. A good song can express everything that you can't always say in words, because it's just so universal, and you always remember where you heard that song or when you heard that song. Yes. And it's a bridge for a lot of people as well. So the song of, and the term of heart song, that concept is just so brilliant and beautiful in itself.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And I also think it can be the song, but with a particular singer. Mm-hmm. So even I can hear a song, and for example, True Colors, I think it's a beautiful song. Peter Gallagher singing it in that context was just, it made me feel something different.
Even pop music as a whole, it's like you hear Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You, you love it, you think it's pretty, you think it's stunning, but then you hear Whitney Houston sing it and you're just like, that's revolutionary. Where did this song come from? Right,
exactly. What song would you love to be able to sing on the show?
Oh my goodness, I am such a music snob and I can't think of anything right now.
I put you on the hot seat.
A song that I would love to sing, I don't know. I Who Have Nothing, I Have Nothing. Ain't No Way by Aretha. There's so many.
Yeah, John had kind of had that same reaction. There's so many I want to do. I don't know which one I would pick. Um, do you see yourself as a role model or spokesperson for the LGBT community? Do you want that role if you do see yourself that way?
I always say this, I never preface or see myself as a role model because then it becomes disgenuine when you take on all of that responsibility. If you can live your life authentically and beautifully and true to who you are, and you show that, you're a role model regardless without thinking that you're a role model, because then you just do it to be the role model. And I think when you start thinking about it, you become complacent in it.
Have you gotten feedback from individuals who are like, you are my role model, you know, I feel more encouraged to be myself because of you're being yourself?
Yeah, and it fuels you to be more visible in the sense of being that for them. But when I hear role model, I always think of just like, I have to do this for the people, I have to do it. It's like, no, you can still live your full authentic life and be happy in that. And that work alone is making you the role model.
I agree with your statement. You know, you do become disingenuous maybe a little bit when you think like a role model. What can you tell us about what's next for Mo?
Oof, what is next for Mo? Mo gets a new love interest for the second half of this season. Um, Mo and Max open up the restaurant finally.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
What else is going on? There's a lot of like things. I think the biggest thing right now is the new love interest.
Are you happy with the way the character Mo is going and growing and moving along?
You know, I always am a huge proponent of family life, and I really want to. We talk about Mos Mother, but I really want to meet Mos Mother, and family in general, to see what that dynamic would be and what it's like, and to see the people that cultivated this person and made that person who they are today. I think that this season is a lot of growth for Mo, and growing up in the sense of not being in their early 20s anymore and not kind of living as much of a carefree life, but a structured carefree life.
Being responsible for other people and things, hence the restaurant in a sense. Who would you want to play Mos Mother?
I have so many people. I always say Niecy Nash because I'm obsessed with Niecy Nash.
Yes.
For like musical theater fans, I would love like Lillias White or Audra McDonald.
Yes.
Just
great.
Along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You hearing that, producers? We need to make that happen. If there's a season 3, hopefully there will be. Where would you like to see Mo headed in season 3? Obviously, there's a new love interest this season. So will that grow and develop? Do we see that fall apart? What would you like to see for Mo?
I would love to see the love interest develop more. You know, you don't really often get to see Black queer love on network television for more than just a blip.
Yeah, and growing up, I mean, even 10 years ago, you know, Glee, you didn't really see it as much. Now it is much more prevalent. Just embracing all types of love is much more prevalent on television, which is a wonderful thing. So, you know, I applaud you. Do you ever feel nervous about something they want you to do on the show? Like, how is it going to come across to people?
Honestly, I guess yes, but if so, I talk it out. And I do. I talk it out, and I ask questions. They get sick of me. I ask so many questions, and the first person is like, why, just why? Why would anybody do that? To be honest. I mean, we literally just got into not an argument, but like a why questioning of why are we still knocking on each other's door? Zoey and I, we're always going to each other's door and knocking. And I'm just like, why are we still doing this? We've done 20 episodes now. Why are we still on the doors knocking?
It's very true. I guess it's a sense of privacy. But you tend to be very analytical in that way. If you're constantly asking why, how does that help you? And does it hurt you at all in playing the role of Mo?
It hurts sometimes, but most times it helps because we're not making a movie, we're making a television show, so everything is so fast paced, and we have different writers writing different things, and we have different people have different visions of things, and we have different directors coming in with their visions of everything, and it's just like, hold on, I'm confused. Who are we doing today? Which version of Mo are we doing? And it's the actor's job to kind of bridge everybody's ideas together and still ring true to the character. So I ask why, just because I would like to know everybody's thought process of where they're at so that I can mesh all of that into a nice little blender and produce the happiest product.
Have you ever gotten some of that feedback and been like,
oh, absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. I was like, no, that's not what it is. I mean, an example would be like we were doing that episode where I Mos saged the restaurant and had that karaoke party, and Max got very upset at Mo, and we did that like coming back together scene, and the director at the time was just like, yeah, you're both angry at each other and like you're lashing out at each other. And I said, no, I'm not. I wouldn't be lashing out. I said, this is the game. Like, I have lashed out at Max so many times now that for me and Mo, I'm stoic. I'll let you have your moment. Take as much time as you need. Yeah. And then everyone was just like, oh, okay. But that's why I ask why a lot, because it's like sometimes we can find a better medium for things.
Absolutely. It's always good to question, even if you get the answer you don't necessarily want.
Yeah, honey, sometimes the answer is just completely left field, and I'm just like, I won't do
that. Well, good. That's a good thing. Very quickly, which do you feel is more important to you? Which feeds your soul more, acting or singing?
Oh, which feeds my soul more? I mean, I guess the easiest answer is singing. I mean, I've been doing it since I was 2, so there's such a sense of love and genuine trust in it all. And, with doing 8 shows a week and kind of doing concerts and touring and having like vocal damage every now and again and having to like relearn how to use this craft that I've cultivated and learning it and leaning on it and not letting it fault is just, it's a beautiful thing, because I feel like this is something special. It's like my own little baby down there.
I have to say, you are a magnificent singer, magnificent. And again, that goes not only to the instrument itself, but your emotion involved in it, which changes the feel of the song always. So thank you for that. Thank you for such a great character, because I love Mo. You gotta love Mo. And thanks so much for talking with me. I can't wait to see the end of season 2 and crossing fingers for season 3 so that we get more of Mo.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Hit like, smash subscribe, and get notified for when our reviews, interviews, and news go live.